You know, deep beneath the crushing pressures of the Pacific Ocean, there lies one of the Cold War's most chilling secrets. Today, we're going to uncover the story of a lost submarine, a true ghost of the deep, and the absolutely audacious mission to steal it from its watery grave. It's a pretty simple question, right? But the answer? Well, the answer is anything but. Seriously, how do you find something that was designed from the ground up to be invisible? A phantom patrolling the darkest corners of the Earth? That's the central mystery we are diving into right now. So to really get this story, you have to picture a time when the entire world was on a knife's edge. The oceans weren't just empty expanses of water. They were a silence-hidden battlefield. Nuclear submarines from both superpowers were just gliding through the depths, totally unseen, unheard, but always there. A constant, terrifying threat. And our ghost? Well, it has a name. The Soviet submarine K-129. This vessel and its crew, they are at the very heart of this incredible story. The year is 1968. The world is practically holding its breath. Tensions between the US and the Soviet Union are sky high, and the technology of underwater warfare is pushing into some seriously uncharted, terrifying territory. Every single move is being watched. Every signal is being listened for. And you've got to remember, this wasn't just a machine. On board the K-129 were nearly 100 men. We're talking sailors, officers, technicians. Each one was a part of the Soviet Union's elite submarine force, sent on a mission deep, deep into what they considered hostile waters. But here's the really crucial part, what they were carrying. This submarine was armed with 3 nuclear missiles. Yep, 3 weapons capable of just unimaginable destruction, and they were silently patrolling the Pacific. You can't overstate this. The stakes could not have been higher. Okay, so now we come to that fateful moment. The submarine's final, silent mission that would turn it from a weapon of war into one of the ocean's most enduring mysteries. It all starts on February 24th, when K-129 slips away from its base. Everything seems normal, just another routine patrol. But then, in early March, it misses a scheduled radio check-in. At first, it's a minor concern, but as the days turn into weeks, that concern just grows into full-blown alarm. The Soviets launch this massive, frantic search, and they find absolutely nothing. And that was what was so utterly baffling. There was just silence. No mayday call, no oil slick on the surface, no floating debris, nothing. K-29, its entire crew, and its nuclear arsenal had just vanished, as if it had been swallowed whole by the ocean. And this is where the story takes a crazy turn. So on one hand, you've got the Soviets publicly scrambling, scouring thousands of square miles of ocean and finding zilch. But on the other hand, the US was listening in secret. Their advanced underwater acoustic network picked up a faint, mysterious sound, an implosion or explosion. They crunched the data and pinpointed the wreck's location at an incredible depth of 5,000 meters. The Soviets had lost their sub. The Americans knew exactly where it was. Now, this secret knowledge led to one of the most audacious, almost unbelievable covert operations in history. See, the CIA wasn't content just knowing where the sub was. Oh no, they decided they were going to go get it. They were going to steal it. The mission got a code name, Project Azorian. And its goal was, well, simple to say, but almost impossible to actually do. Secretly raise a 2,000-ton Soviet submarine from 3 miles below the surface of the Pacific, all without the Soviets ever knowing, right under their noses. Pulling off a heist like this, it needed a plan that was just mind-bogglingly complex. So first, they built a totally one-of-a-kind ship, the Glomar Explorer, with a giant hole in the bottom and a submersible barge so they could do the whole operation hidden from spy satellites. Second, they had to create the perfect cover story, a deep-sea mining venture. And who better to front a secretive, expensive project than the eccentric, reclusive billionaire Howard Hughes? It was perfect. Third, they engineered this giant mechanical claw, something straight out of science fiction, designed to grab the sub. And finally, in 1974, with all the pieces in place, they sailed out to attempt the impossible. And this brings us to the climax of the whole operation. Years of planning, billions of dollars, all leading to one single moment. 3 miles down in the freezing, total darkness. After this painstaking descent into the abyss, the claw, which they codenamed Clementine, it finally reaches the wreckage. And against all odds, guided only by cameras and sonar, it locks onto the hull of the K-129. The first critical step is a success. Now the most delicate phase begins. Inch by agonizing inch, the Glomar explorer starts the slow, nerve-wracking process of lifting this fractured submarine through miles of water. You have to imagine, every sound, every shudder of the cable was a moment of pure, heart-stopping tension for the crew up top. And then, disaster. As the wreckage is being lifted, the immense stress is just too much. The weakened hull of the K-129 suffers a catastrophic failure. A huge section of the submarine breaks away from the claw and just falls, lost forever, back into the silent depths. But in the part of the sub they did recover, they found the remains of several Soviet sailors. And this is where the story gets really strange. In a secret ceremony, the American CIA crew conducted a full burial at sea. They played both the Soviet and American anthems and honored their fallen adversaries with full military respect. It was this profound moment of humanity right in the middle of a ruthless conflict. So, despite the partial success of Project Azorian, the story doesn't end with any clear answers. Actually, the failure to recover the entire submarine only made the whole mystery even deeper. To this very day, no one knows for sure what actually sank the K-129. Was it some kind of catastrophic mechanical failure? Did the volatile liquid fuel in a missile just explode? Could it have collided with a U.S. submarine that was shadowing it? Or was it simply a tragic human error? Every theory has its supporters, but none have ever been proven. And the tragic irony of it all is that the section of the sub that broke off and fell back to the seabed, that was the real prize. It contained the code room, the missile tubes, and all the cryptographic equipment, the very secrets the CIA was after in the first place. Those answers now lie forever beyond our reach. The story of K-129 really is a silent monument to the Cold War. A wild tale of espionage, incredible engineering, and ultimately, failure. It leaves us all with one final haunting question. Will the ocean ever give up its secrets? Or does the final answer to this ghost story lie forever in the dark?